But let's get into our first topic because we do have breaking news today. Lamar Jackson posted on his Twitter, and we'll bring up the tweet right now, that he had requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens back on March 2nd. And this is an interesting post, and the timing is very interesting because this was about 3 or 4 minutes after the owners' meeting that happened today. And John Harbaugh was asked about it. We have that clip, but I just want to read the most important part of this tweet where it goes, "In regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I have requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens had not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl." And John Harbaugh was asked about this, and this is what he had to say.
I haven't seen the tweet. It's an ongoing process. I'm following it very closely. Looking forward to a resolution. I'm excited. Thinking about Lamar all the time. Thinking about him as our quarterback. We're building our offense around that idea, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to football. I'm confident that's going to happen. I'm pretty fired up about Lamar Jackson. You know, it's a unique situation right now, I would say. It's different than most years. It's just a contract situation, so that's probably just a little different than other years. Not as much. So I'm looking forward to getting back, to the normal way of doing things. I'm getting ready for Lamar. That's what I'm doing. And our offense, we got a new offensive coordinator. Very excited about Todd Monken. We're in the lab right now, building the offense and putting it together with the terminology and the plays and things like that. And that's what you focus on as a coach.
So, now we have confirmation Lamar wants out. We heard some rumors, heard through the grapevine that Lamar wanted to move on from the Baltimore Ravens, and he came out today to officially announce that he requested a trade about 3 weeks ago. So I want to know, what do you think is the next step for both Lamar and the Ravens going forward after this new development?
Yeah, well, I would say John Harbaugh was in total damage control there in his commentary, right? He never mentioned anything about Lamar requesting the trade, and he's known about it for 3 weeks, right? So he never said a word about that. He just said we're planning to have Lamar on our team. That's the way we're headed. Right. Now, the fact that Lamar has asked for a trade, I think that it seems like that he wants to part ways with them, and that he's never said that before. This is the first time he's said that. That's not good for the Ravens. I think that's a problem for them big time. And whether they can repair the damage that's been done here, I guess only money will be the answer, right? Yeah,
I mean, that's really what he's going for is the monetary value, how much guaranteed money. And there was a report that Lamar and the Ravens were about $100 million off of guaranteed money. Generally, that's when you're talking about massive numbers, like maybe in the billions of dollars when you're doing a deal like that, where you're
billions.
I'm talking about a deal where you're hundreds of $1 million off, not in like, I don't know, a $200 million contract where you're $100 million off.
That's 50%.
It's a crazy amount.
And, I get, it seems like Lamar, this is where he needs an agent really big time. He's not controlling the communications very well because he's sending mixed messages. He's been out there saying, I don't really need a guarantee, right? So what did that mean? How can he be hundreds of millions apart or $100 million apart with the Ravens if he's not looking for a guarantee anymore? Right. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It's very interesting when Lamar does this, but I think we have to take a look at this. A little bit of hunting. So Lamar in his career, first of all, since the MVP season, he has dipped down since that MVP year, which was over 3 years ago now, and he has declined a little bit and declined a little bit and declined a little bit, and the last 36 games, he's missed a third of them. So we have to put that into account, and also, in the playoffs, he's 1-3. The Ravens have won with Trent Dilfer, who went 4-0 in his only playoff run with the Ravens, and since the turn of the millennia, the Ravens are, I believe, 14-5 in the playoffs since then, with 2 Super Bowls. And that's with Joe Flacco and with Trent Dilfer leading the offense. So I think the Ravens, and I've said this a couple times now, I think the Ravens are confident that they've won before Lamar, they've won with Lamar, and I think they can win without Lamar moving forward.
Yeah, but that's not what John Harbaugh is saying. He seemed even a little quite nervous about it. He was in full damage control. Sounds to me like they want Lamar back big time.
Well, of course, who wouldn't want Lamar?
They aren't willing to pay for it. They aren't willing to meet his financial demands. And I don't know why Lamar said, I'm not looking for a full guarantee. Why did he say that? It doesn't make sense in the way he's dealing with the Ravens now. I don't understand it.
It's something to think about, but I think John Harbaugh is taking this kind of at a lackadaisical approach. Oh, Lamar's on our team. It's okay. We're all good. Meanwhile, Lamar is clawing to get out of there. He's creating a disruption, and I think this is gonna end very, very poorly. Lamar, this doesn't seem like it's a business type of a move now. Lamar is taking this personally.
It seems that way.
He feels like he got spited by the Ravens.
He's letting emotion get in the way of good business common sense. And that's where he benefit from having an agent.
Right, because once again, he has to hear directly why the Ravens think he's not worth the amount that he's thinking it is.
Yeah. And now we should follow up on last time's show where we weren't sure about what his contract status meant in terms of the franchise the non-exclusive franchise tag. Can you go through that for me?
Sure. So last show, for those who don't know, where we were wondering towards the end of our Lamar take, where we basically said if he doesn't sign the franchise tag, what happens when the season starts? Is he a free agent or whatnot? I did some digging today, and it's just so happens that if Lamar does not sign the franchise tag by July 15th, I believe from that day on, if he sits out or whatnot, he's not making a single dime. He's not going to make any money whether he plays or not. If he, let's say, and he's not a free agent. He's not. He can't just go negotiate or whatever. If he wants to be traded, he does need to sign the franchise tag tender, and then the Ravens could trade him if they want to. Because once again, the Ravens really have to decide this. They can match any offer with a non-exclusive deal, and they could decide whether or not to trade him if he does sign that non-exclusive franchise tag.
Now, if he signs the non-exclusive deal and demands to be traded, and they don't trade him,
he's just on the team.
He's on the team, but he could, if he's protested and sat out, would he be subject to fines?
The Ravens could fine him.
Yeah, I think the Ravens could be fined, right?
Because he's making every single dime of the franchise tag, but they could just fine him X amount of dollars that could maybe equal the franchise tag.
He violated his contract by signing the.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't sign the non-exclusive franchise tag, he just doesn't.
He's not making a single penny whether he plays or not.
That goes for like 3 years, right?
Well, no, that goes for 1 year since the franchise tag's only 1 year. But they could franchise tag him 2 more times after this if they want to.
So he can't escape from them for 3 years.
Technically,
he could be without any pay at all for 3 years.
On the major extreme, yes.
Yeah, which is not going to happen.
Of course, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
that'd be like holding him like hostage.
The Ravens kind of in the driver's seat on that aspect of it.
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely say.
Yeah, but having an unhappy football player on your team who is the quarterback of the team. Not a good situation either. Of
course not.
So
quarterback's the general of the offense.
This is fascinating. I have I'm anxious to find out where it comes out, but I don't think it's going to be solved for a while.
I don't think it is, unless here's a crazy thing. Now this is where the Jets could take back the leverage from the Packers right here. If they say you could keep the guy who's worth $60 million this year, we're going to go out and we're going to focus on Lamar now. Even though it's come out saying that Aaron Rodgers is their plan A and that they're not worried about a plan B, but that's the Jets. Get the wrong quarterback when the best one's available. If they don't target let's say if they target Lamar Jackson and the Packers are dealt with, we either have to accept the lowball offer that they are not up to the standard we hope to. We either have to release Aaron Rodgers, which is not going to happen. We either tell Aaron Rodgers to stay on our team and either play him or don't play him. And he's still worth $60 million. Or, I don't even know what you do after that. Because
find someone else to trade him to.
That's the thing. I feel like every team that has a plan right now. I think every team has a plan.
Other teams may come out of the woodwork there if that happens. If the Jets go off of Aaron Rodgers and try to make a trade for Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, then I think other teams would come out and try to pursue Aaron
But why
Rodgers.
wouldn't any other team now be fighting for Aaron Rodgers? If the Jets and the Packers are at a standstill,
And other teams may come out of the woodwork now and look for go after Lamar Jackson.
I think they will.
That he wants to be.
But here's a great point I heard.
Traded.
Here's a great point I heard. They're gonna wait until after this year's draft because they don't want to give up. Let's say it's a top 10 team. They don't want to give up their top 10 pick along with another first round pick. So they would draft whoever they want in the draft, then pursue Lamar after the draft, give up their first round pick in 24 and 25. So then they have a top 10 pick this year and have Lamar Jackson and give up their 2 first round picks the subsequent 2 years.
Or they may do the first round pick and pick a quarterback and one of the top 4 teams, right? Or five or six teams with those top 4
whoever needs the quarterback
being there, and then try to trade that quarterback.
But why would you,
along with another first round pick?
Because
then the Ravens are going to be looking for a quarterback. Where are they going to get a quarterback?
I don't think they're going to go for top dollar guy because Lamar's a top dollar guy and they're not willing to pay him. Like I said, they're going to go for a Stetson Bennett or a Max Duggan.
They take one of the elite rookies that are coming out of the draft?
Because you think the Ravens would try to move up in the draft?
No. I'm saying that one of the top 5 or 6 teams will draft.
Why though? Why help out the Ravens? Why give them a future?
Because they want Lamar Jackson.
But no, my point is, don't draft another. For instance, the Colts. If they want to draft, let's say, a pass rush, they would draft an edge rusher or an interior tackle on the defensive side, and then after the draft, so you use your top 10 pick on another place you need. And then, after the draft, then pursue Lamar Jackson.
Well, I think your chances of getting him are not as great.
It wouldn't matter. You would just need to offer a deal.
If the Colts had C.J. Stroud, okay, which is probably unlikely.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, let's say they had him.
Sure.
Right? Wouldn't he be, and you were trying to trade for Lamar Jackson, I think your chances might be pretty decent.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter right now because he's still in the non-exclusive deal. All you got to do is give Lamar an offer sheet. And if the Ravens don't match it, you get Lamar, pay him whatever, you give up 2 first-round picks. So we don't even need to worry about a trade right now because technically a team could still offer him an offer sheet, and then the Ravens would have a chance to match it.
I just think a team who drafted one of those elite quarterbacks.
We're talking about 2 different things, though.
But
you're talking about trade. I'm talking about a franchise tag.
I know. They're linked to one another. Okay,
not really.
The offer sheet, right?
Yeah.
If you go beyond the draft and if you got a player that the Ravens don't want, then you're talking about draft picks that are in the future,
right? Which could be high picks.
They're going to need a player this year. If they could get one of those elite rookie quarterbacks, they kind of save face with their fan base because they've got somebody they can grow with. Right? And they wind up getting a quarterback that could be comparable to Lamar someday, right?
But why would you want to help out the Ravens? That's my point. You're talking about a trade.
Only if you want Lamar Jackson badly, right?
No,
if you want Lamar Jackson badly, then you want to give something to the Ravens that will get you a trade.
Right? But you're talking about a trade. You don't even need to trade him if you just offer him a deal the Ravens don't match. That's the thing. You don't need to trade a single player.
That's lies the problem. The Ravens are going to match.
Well, it depends on how much you offer. It depends on how much you offer.
Well, if you offer $250 million, they probably won't match.
Exactly my point.
But they won't. I don't think anybody's going to try to do that because Lamar has now said, "I do not need a guarantee."
But okay,
so how does any team determine what the hell is going on here?
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I would play that. He said he didn't want a full guarantee. So I wouldn't go out there and do the offer sheet. I'd try to get some players that the Ravens want and try to make a deal to trade for him.
But I'm saying, if you're the Colts, why would you help out a team in your conference?
Because you want
just offer a big contract. You're gonna have to pay him. Here's the thing: you're gonna need to pay him a contract if you trade him anyway.
If it's the Colts, you're gonna wind up helping them out anyway because you'll be giving them first round picks down the road.
But they could be high picks. They might not mean nothing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Here's a big question: how much is it gonna be worth? For instance. If you, let's say you do draft a C.J. Stroud or a Will Levis or an Anthony Richardson or whatever, if you draft him and then you add that pick that draft pick, that person with another first round pick in 24, 25 or whenever, and then the Ravens accept that, you're still going to need to pay Lamar an exorbitant amount of money.
That's because you want Lamar Jackson.
So
he's going to get a huge amount of money.
I understand.
The thing is, though, you may not have to give as much of a guarantee as originally thought, because now he said, I don't need a guarantee. I don't need a full guarantee. I just want to get out. Now the message is from Lamar Jackson. I want out of Baltimore.
Right.
I don't want to play there anymore.
Right.
I've told him on March 2nd that I want to be traded. Now I've stated in public that I don't need a full guarantee. Yeah. So bring me some offers. Bring me some offers.
Well,
that's what I'm looking for.
That's what he was hoping.
Yeah, and I would think he would get some now. Why wouldn't he get some? I think some teams ought to just. Why not? Why wouldn't they try?
I think there's two reasons why.
I think the Jets ought to really serious.
I think they should drop Aaron Rodgers. I think they should drop Aaron Rodgers.
I think
screw the Packers over.
No, but I think they give themselves leverage with the Packers if they go that route.
Absolutely.
And
threaten to sign Lamar and leave Rodgers in the dust.
Yeah.
And then guess what? The Packers are going to start this process all over again with another team, maybe. Because if, let's say, a team, let's just say it is the fact, just in some random scenario where teams are waiting till after the draft for like my instance where they want to trade 24 and 25 instead of a top 10, top 15 pick this year. If they are not going for Lamar now, after all of this, he's announced that he wants a trade. His business partner or whoever came out saying he doesn't want a guaranteed deal. Is Aaron Rodgers going to have a market here? Aaron Rodgers has one market. The Packers don't want him, but they have him. The Jets are desperate for a veteran quarterback. They're saying that Aaron Rodgers is their plan A, when really Lamar, who's more than a decade younger and better right now, they're not going for him. They're not saying they're not worried about a plan B. If the Jets threaten to drop the Aaron Rodgers trade and focus on Lamar Jackson, the Packers are going to be in limbo for the foreseeable future. Who knows what's going to happen? And that's, here's the thing. This situation with Lamar and Aaron Rodgers is as complicated right now as it probably could ever be.
Yeah.
Now, if the Jets come out and focus a little bit more on Lamar Jackson, now it's an entire entangled web that makes no sense to what's going to happen.
I think that this will, if the deal with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets is going to go through, I think it's going to be sped up now. I think it could be
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It could be
sooner than expected.
The Packers may need to drop off. And hold on.
I didn't think it would get done until the first, just before the draft, if it was going to get done. And if it didn't get done then, it could go really late, because then the Packers have the leverage.
Right.
Because the Jets would want to have a quarterback in camp to get their offense together.
Right.
And they'd have to wait until almost the first day of the season then.
Yeah.
The Packers could hold out for that. So that would give the Packers a leverage. If I were the Jets, I'd be making noise about going after Lamar.
I would as well. The last point about this I want to make is Lamar said in his tweet that the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. This is where I think Lamar needs to mature up a little bit. You're part of a business. You're employed by the Baltimore Ravens. You set a value, correct? The Ravens have their value. I think the mature business decision between both parties is to meet somewhere in the middle. Don't stand stubborn at your $250 whatever $1 million deal you were originally wanting. And I understand you to be upset if you had 3 years, $133 million, but there's some middle ground. And for what I could tell, you don't want to stand down from your offer. Otherwise, I think the Ravens may be a little bit more lenient to get this offer working. And there's a report that's saying Lamar was talking to the Ravens as earlier this week. Or I guess last week, technically. Today's Monday. Sometime last week that they were talking.
About what? I mean,
about contract.
Well, he said he wanted to be traded.
That's the weird thing. Lamar wants to stay, but then he wants to go. He's talking with the Ravens. Does he want to come?
It's negotiation.
It's a weird situation.
It's part of the negotiation.
It's I don't know what's happening right now. Lamar, I think, just get an agent. I mean, if Deshaun Watson could get $230 million to a desperate team after his off the field shabacle, Lamar, take some hints and get that agent.
Yeah.
Because if that agent can get Deshaun Watson that much money and get him out of that mess,
yeah, well,
imagine what he could do for you.
Look who we did it with, though.
The Clowns.
Yeah, I know.
The Cleveland Clowns.
Yeah.
But, hey, I mean, the Ravens are a smart organization. They've won before Lamar. They've won Super Bowls before Lamar. They barely won a playoff game with Lamar. And I'm saying, get Max Duggan, get Stetson Bennett, and I think they could win beyond Lamar Jackson. But we will see. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.